Hi guys, welcome to Angling For You. You join me on a very, very windy Birtwood Fish Viz. Today's video is really going to be about catching silvers and using some different techniques. So today I'm using cheese as one of my baits, and this is the first fish that's taken it, and it's a fantastic roach to start the day. And we'll go into it a little bit closer, but it's a beautiful, beautiful roach, man's. And look at that for a beautiful roach to start the day, and it absolutely fin perfect and a really good stamp. And this is one of the reasons why we're gonna look at cheese as a bait. Now, you all know me. I like to use my different baits and just really sort of push the boat, try new things, new techniques, and one of those today is that cheese. Now, cheese has caught me quite a few fish over the years on venues, on rivers and things like that for chub, and it's not by no means a bait that's not known around and about. It is a bait that a lot of people know about, and it's renowned as an old school roach bait, and knowing that there's quite a lot of silvers in here today, I thought I'd give it a go. Now, I certainly could have brought an easier cheese to fish with today. I'll go into this when we get close to the camera, but I've got quite a mature cheese, which means that it's a little bit crumbly, which makes it a little bit more tricky to work with. And if you had sort of a cheddar or something that were quite spongy, it'd be easy to hook. But this is a bit being mature is a little bit crumblier. It once you get it hooked, usually all right. It's a little bit waxy, but once we get it in, we're usually all right. We're only looking for a small amount of it. You're just looking for a tiny little kernel, and some bits like this one are a little bit worse to hook than others, primarily because I got no fingers. That's the main thing. My hands are so cold that's where the struggle is at the moment. But so once you push your cheese on, like so, like I said, it's only a small piece that we got on, and I've got some expanders as well with me. It's always good to have a backup, and I've really pushed myself today to not bring any maggots, and it's quite easy to go onto maggots, and it is good to use maggots through the winter. It's probably the go-to bait for casters and chopworm and all that, but sometimes I just like to try and sort of test myself a little bit. Now, what we've done to start off with is we've fed some 50-50 mixed green swim stem and marine halibut ground bait together, and then we've mixed that with some soaked micro pellets. Again, when we go to the camera, we'll go up close and we'll talk about that again. Now I'm fishing an inch over depth, and that's just giving me a little bit of stability with the wind. The float's obviously dotted right down. We've got a back shot, which again we'll talk about when we get closer. As you can see, sometimes you just got to let the wind blow you out of the way, and not risk, sort of breaking anything pole orientated. But we've fished quite short today because of this wind. Ironically, I'm fishing a different method earlier on to film, and the wind wasn't bad, and as soon as you get the pole out, lo and behold, the wind starts getting up. So you must be aware of that when you're fishing your pole. Don't go out too far lengths when it's a strong wind. You just risk breaking weaker sections, and obviously that's expensive and not good. But like I said, we're fishing over depth by about an inch on the deck. Got a small size 18 hook, and we're fishing over three small cupping kit pots of ground bait mixed with the micro pellets, and really for majority of the session I'm going to put that ground bait in and try and fish over that for at least an hour before I look at topping that up, unless we have a good run of fish, which is possible. into another silver. This one's a skimmer. And that was a really delicate bite. And again, a better stamp of fish, not those smaller fish that are in here. And that's a nice skimmer, perfectly hooked in the bottom lip. That's a lovely little skimmer. It's getting back. We'll see if we can sneak another one just before we bring it up to camera and have a look at the rig. We've got 6 to 8 hollow elastic on, which is probably a little bit strong if we're going to fish silvers, but it's still forgiving enough, as you can see, to land silverfish. I think my main thought process is, you know, when you're fishing with baits like cheese or pellet, there's always a chance that you're going to hook a carp, and I'd rather have something that is a little bit stronger to risk having it on. So just put another little block on. We've got 014 mainline to an 012 bottom, so reasonably light. It's an 18's KKMB size 18, and that's only slightly wider gape just to put on these little blocks of cheese. If I were fishing just pellet or maggot, if I were just fishing just maggot, then I'd have one of the Guru maggot hooks on, or a QM1 or something like that, or a little finer pellet or maggot hook. You see, when that wind just picks up a little bit, it is very strong. But that skimmer bite was so gentle, which often are this time of year. That's why we dot these floats right down. It's important that you dot those floats right down. Another fish on the cheese. There's like another small roach. Oh, look. There you go, beautiful. What we'll do now is just get the camera changed so we can get a little bit closer and see the rig and how we present that cheese. Look at that beautiful roach. We'll get that changed and we'll see if we can get a little bit closer, have a look at the rig and see how we're catching these fish. Right guys, so let's have a little talk about the rig. So starting with the float, we've got the Chianti style Progen float. It's a 0.4 gram with obviously a little bit of tow with a wind, carbon stem and a bristle. Like we say, it's a thick bristle, but we're going to dot it right down to see those quick bites. And we've got a little bit longer lash of around 18 inches with that little back shot about 8 inches from the float, and that's just allow us to give somewhat control, although when the big gusts come, can't really do anything about that. We've got a couple of number 8s just underneath the float, a number 9 in the middle, another couple of number 8s close to the hook link, and so we've got another couple of 8s about mid-depth, a number 9 just before the hook link, and a number 10 just before the hook, which is around 4 inches from the hook. And the hook, like I said, is a KKMB 18. Now, a fairly straightforward rig. We've put the shot throughout the rig itself to get that bait right down to the bottom with all this tow. We just want it straight down to the bottom. We've got a ground bait mixture, which is here. And like I said, we've wetted that quite down so we can get it to the bottom. It's a 50-50 marine halibut and green swim stem from Dynamite Baits, and then we've soaked some pellets individually, which are here. We've soaked some micro pellets, and that's what we're mixing in. We've kept a few separate because we might do a little bit of feeding for them. And the star of the show if I can reach it, is the cheese. So you can see I've rough cubed it up. They're way too big for what I need to catch with, but it allows me to just work with them and sort of break them and hook it in what I need size wise. So I'm just going to hook this one on. So this is the size. Let's just get this out of the way. This is the size that we're fishing with. It's a little small block, a little bit smaller than a sweet corn. Nice and easy to fish with, and if you get a less mature cheese, quite easy to hook as well. Very easy, in fact, if it's not mature. The only difference, like I said, with mature is it's a little bit crumblier. We've got that number 8 hollow, 6 to 8 should I say, which, like I say, may be a little bit heavier, but if we're doing counter carp, I'd rather have that on ready to go. So let's turn it back and see if we can have some more fish. Like I said, we're fishing over an inch over depth, and that's just to try and keep the bait somewhat stable with the pole moving around, and allow us to hit them bites. We've got that telltale shot, which will obviously move the float. That's really important for getting that extra pressure and weight onto the strike, and does make all the difference. So let's get this into camera, turn back to where we were before, and see if we can catch some fish. Right guys, so just gonna ship this one out. So they've responded better than I thought they'd respond, actually, to be honest. I mean, I've done well with cheese for roach fishing in the past, in winter, over the years, and I've never really tried it on this venue, so I thought it'd be worth a little try. Like I said, I've fed 3 balls of the ground bait mix. It's only a 100ml pot, so they're not massive balls to start off. If it goes quiet, I'll look at feeding another one, but if not, if I can try and get an hour in, then I'll go an hour straight away on that piece of cheese. No hesitation on that one. Sailed away straight away. Another nice little skimmer. It's just a nice way of fishing. It's just a different change to the normal maggots, which we all have. And the best thing is, 2 good things is, one, you always have it in your house, or most people do, unless you're lactose intolerant. And the other thing is, if you get hungry, you've got some cheese to eat. So another nice skimmer. And these are a better stamp. I know they're a better stamp than what I'd be getting on maggots, and that's really what this video is about. It's about targeting those bigger silvers. Then you still will catch smaller fish every so often, but this stamp is what the stamp I'm aiming for. It's a little bit bigger. It can build a weight better when you're in a match in the winter. I'm not saying that you'll have a good as day as I'm having on it, but I've got a lot of confidence in it over the years, and I tell you what, I've had some clonking chub on them, on cheese. I tell you, cheese or cheese paste, a hairy piece of cheese. You know, I've had some really good chub on them, and I've had some big roach over the years as well. And that last fish took it straight away. And if it wasn't for this wind, or it could just calm down a little bit more, it'd be even better. And we could just have a nice session of holding things a bit more steady. But that's winter fishing for you. And it's important with the block size as well. Like I showed you, you want to sort of, for a roach fishing, I tend to go half the size of a corn, around that kind of size of an average corn, and you just want the point of the hook sticking out of it. Go about halfway down a piece, and then just have the little bit of hook showing, and just a little firm strike, and you're away. they're pretty confident when they take it, to be honest. Another important thing is if you've got a marker, even with the wind, you'll find sometimes it blows you out of your position, and you just sometimes just hold in your pole and you forget where you are. You've got to try and line up with that marker. Obviously, I've got a pallet in the distance is where I'm lined up with, and I make sure that I pull it back to, because that's where obviously the ground bait went in. Into another fish. Another nice little roach. Beautiful. This one just needs a little disgorging. But the stamp that you're finding with these cheese is just such a better stamp. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking fish. Oh, quick bite that was. So another quick tip, guys, if you're fishing a short pole like I'm fishing today, about 9 meters, and I've only got one roller, if you actually look at what I'm doing, I'm not always taking the top kit off. Sometimes I do, if I'm unhooking the fish, of course, but at the moment I'm just keeping it on the roller. It's on the roller, it's under the crook of my arm, and that allows you to not have to take off and take on your top kit all the time. It does help with the wear, but it's just sometimes not necessary to do so. So it's just a little quick tip that you can quite easily control what you're doing without always unshipping every time, and you're ready to go straight back out then as well, not having to put the kit back on, just shuffling away. Looks like a little skimmer. A little bit of cheese in the mouth. Another little fish. Fish. And a very quick bite. It's a lovely roach to finish on. Oh, not a skimmer, should I say, to get my eyes checked, I think. That's perfectly in the corner of the mouth. Unfortunately, very wet, very cold hands. Right, guys, so hope this has been a bit of a different one and an interesting way of fishing in the winter. And obviously we've had quite a considerable amount of silvers, and I'm going to continue until the wind gets too bad. But really enjoyed it. I didn't even need to go into any of the more obvious baits, just all on cheese, which is great. So it's worked really well, and the stamp has been a lot better than I've fished in previous years when I've just fished the maggots. Tend to get the smaller fish, so thank you very much for watching, and there's lots of playlists and bits and bobs that you can look at regarding features and product reviews and all sorts of things, so have a look at that. Join us on the Facebook group Angling For You, join us on the Instagram angling_for you, and until the next one guys, thanks for watching.